Well, welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, also best-selling author, and every single day I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on the show, we have another fascinating guest. On this show, we interview celebrities, entrepreneurs, business CEOs, and to find out how they're able to achieve success, their keys to success, and of course, how do they overcome challenges and adversity. And our guest today is someone who's been helping a lot of people online overcome their challenges, overcome their strategy, overcome their adversity so that they're becoming more successful and grow as well. I've had the opportunity and privilege and honor to be on her podcast, and it was absolutely amazing. Great guest, great content, something I think everybody should get in touch with her on and really listen to that content because she has some very, very amazing guests. And really, a person who is this great energy about her. Every time she speaks, people listens. She's very, very knowledgeable in what she does. She's been helping a lot of people really expand their exposure, build up their businesses, grow, and also establish that brand, which is so important when it comes to the online space. She is a podcast host, a social media marketer, an actress, and also a sales expert. So please welcome Ms. JOCELYN LEDUC.
Thank you so much for that intro. Oh, you give me too much credit, but I really appreciate it. I'm super excited to be here today and talking with you, especially after our episode that you did on my podcast. I thought it was a great conversation, so I'm ready for another great conversation.
Awesome. I'm really, really looking forward to this as well. Like I said, you have this great energy about you. You're very, very down to earth, and I think it's something that lots of entrepreneurship is missing.
Mhm.
When people show up and they're energyless or they're on stage and they're just monotone, it's kind of boring. But you have
Yeah.
this energy with you that makes everything sound so much more exciting, so much more incredible. So I'm very, very excited. So let's jump right into it. How did you
Okay.
get to where you are today? What did you do? What was your process? What was your close notes of your origin story into the amazing person you are today?
Well, of course, I have to give a lot of credit to both my mother and my uncle. My mother, single mother, raised me all, and she trained me and she taught me to be the woman that I am today. So I'm always grateful for her. And then, of course, my uncle, who is actually the CEO of Leduc Entertainment. He is also not only my uncle, but my mentor. From when I was super young, he was the one who helped me get out of my shell. I was actually a really shy kid when I was younger. I was super quiet and mellow, and he was an actor, a director, a producer, and he was always with all of these people down here in New Orleans, filming things, making music. And so when I was really young, he was like, "JOCELYN, like, why don't you do this? Would this be something that you would enjoy?" And of course, at first I was like, no, no way. But then he brought me onto set. He would have me in his short films. He would push me to do theater and monologues, and I'll be on stage and in front of these people. And even though, my heart was literally beating out of my chest, I was so nervous. It was so much fun. I met some of the most amazing people, the most creative people, and even to this day, I still enjoy doing that thing. I have all of these casting call websites. I have agents. I have people down here in New Orleans. They call it the Hollywood of the South or whatever. So I still am in that field. But then a few years ago, my uncle, he started Leduc Entertainment, and he was like, "JOCELYN, you're my niece. I love you, and I want you to be successful. I want to teach you what I know." So he took me under his wing. He's been training me how to do social media management, not just the, trendy ways, that are like, oh, a week trend and then it's gone and people are on to the next. We learn how to actually create personal brands for other people, for ourselves, for businesses. And we take this idea of who they want to be or what they want to project to the world. We brainstorm ideas, topics, videos, anything that they could talk about, what they're knowledgeable in, what they want to be known for, scheduling the videos, going to set, setting everything up, shooting, editing, putting it all out. It's way more than people think it takes for social media marketing. And doing this, it has already been so much fun. And so now I've been learning more of the sales, I'm always learning more, talking to other people, figuring out other perspectives, reading books on sales, really just learning how I can connect with people and better help with what they need. Because of course, I don't want to sell anything to anybody that they don't want or need, you know? So it's been a journey. It's been a lifelong journey in the works.
That is awesome. So for a person who's originally shy, what
Yes.
was that very like it's one thing for your uncle to go, "Hey, do you want to do this?" It's
Mhm,
another thing for you to say yes. But then
mhm,
it's another level for you to actually do it. So what was that very first step of the first time you were either on camera or on stage, and then the
mhm.
first time you had a speaking part?
Okay. So when I was younger and teenager, I had an acting class. And it was one thing, he would assign us monologues to do every week. We would just get in front of the class. It was a small class, a handful of kids. So it was nerve-wracking to do that, of course. But then he said, "Jocelyn, I want you to try out for the play." And I was like, "The play? The play?" It was a it was a parody of the Phantom of the Opera. So it wasn't a musical, but it was the same premise. And I love the Phantom of the Opera, especially the movie with Gerard Butler. Oh my goodness, my favorite ever. So when he said that, I said, obviously, I have to do it. So I went to the rehearsals or the auditions. I went to the auditions and I was going to audition for Christine's friend, her friend, her support, the supporting actress, but they ended up giving me the lead role. And my heart fell. I was so nervous, but my co-stars that were with me, they were all my friends. I had a great teacher, and he really gave me that encouragement. He said, "Jocelyn, when you're on stage, you have like this energy, and I don't understand why you don't put yourself out there more. I think you're a great, and I think this is something that you could do." And that really just changed it for me. Like if if all these other people are saying that I'm good and that I can do this and that I should keep going, I should, like just having all of the support and encouragement from those around me really helped me get over my fears and my insecurities. And then I ended up going and I was performing, 3 days a week for like a month, every weekend we would do this play for the school, for teachers, for parents, for the community, and it was so much fun. It was my favorite play that I've done to this day.
So that was your first experience, and your first experience was already performing in front of large groups of people.
Yes, I beforehand, if I was doing anything, it would be me in the background. I would be on set and I would just, be a body, they want to fill empty space. But this was my first actual on stage, front and center speaking, and I was shaking in my boots. But I wouldn't change it. It was still the best.
So what's your process? Because I would imagine it would be similar to the process that you go through when you're speaking on stage.
Right.
So right before, like, let's say a day before the actual event or the day before the performance, and then also the moment before. What's going
Ooh.
through your mind? What do you tell yourself? What do you listen to? What do you do exercises? What's that procedure for you?
Yes. So leading up to it, of course, my script is in my hand 24/7. I'll sleep next to it, I'll be reciting my lines to my friends,
You
some
assume that while you're sleeping, it just gets absorbed.
yes, I'll just put it under my pillow and I'll dream about it. Of
Been there, done that.
course, of
Continue.
course. And, I would utilize everybody around me. My mother, of course, she would be sick and tired of me by the end of the week because I would just come up to her and just start reciting words. And she'd be like, "What are you saying? Are you talking to me?" "Yes, listen, I need you to listen." And of course, it's the same for like when you're on film and on TV, they always say the day before, no smoking, no drinking, only clean foods, lots of water, make sure that you don't do anything that's going to mess up your voice, mess up your performance, good night rest, good food, all of those things, because it's not just the mental, of course, it's the physical, it's both work hand in hand. You can't have one without the other if you're acting, of course. And so when you need to get in that headspace, you need to feel good. So take care of your body first, and then take care of your mental. And then when the day comes, I try to wake up as early as possible because I'm not a morning person. So it will take me a while to actually get out of bed and then get ready. And so I'll need that time for me to get ready, but also just to have time to myself. I need that quiet. I need to be zen and in my zone. So I'll kind of like get away from everybody actually setting up for the stage. It's always chaos the hours before a play. Everybody's running around, they're going from the stage to the dressing room, people are rehearsing their lines, the director, he's like yelling at everybody to be in places. I need to get away or I'll get overwhelmed. So, sometimes I'll just be quiet. I like tea. I'll make some tea. I'll read my lines. And then sometimes I'll even do like a little dance, something to get all the jitters out. Whatever you need to do to actually put yourself in that space. So just calm, collected, and then shake it out. Shake out the jitters, shake it out. You're here and you're ready, and we're going to get this done.
Mhm. That is awesome. You talked about going through your lines and memorizing and all that kind of stuff, which is a little bit different than speaking on stages,
Yeah.
because it's sometimes not recommended that for you to memorize everything.
Mhm.
So how do you go from, as an actress, you memorize your lines, but still deliver an authentic performance,
Yes.
versus a person speaking on stage who shouldn't memorize everything because it becomes mechanical, right? So
Okay,
how does one prepare for either one?
I agree. So memorizing the lines always comes first, because and even if you end up not necessarily using those lines, the lines are there for a reason. So my uncle, he would always tell me, what's your minute before? So you have to envision yourself as the character. Why did the scriptwriter write this script? What is the character feeling? What was their minute before the script started? Where were they? And how did that guide them into where the script ends? So once you understand those, you have the script memorized, you know that, okay, Christine is confused and upset because she realized that the Phantom is not an angel, but in fact a guy hiding in her walls, you know? So you have to put yourself in that mindset and figure out, what would I do if I were this person? And that's where you have to both separate yourself from the character, but also be the character, because what would I do if I were in Christine might not necessarily be what Christine does, but you have to give that emotional aspect. You have to be Christine. I'm torn up inside. This guy has been training me to be an angel and a songbird for years, and then I find out he's just a man in a wall in my mirror. So you have to really understand the situation and the scenario. And then when you understand that, that's when you can kind of improv it. Scripts aren't always perfect. And I am a huge avid supporter of improv. I think everybody should do improv at least once in their life, no matter if you're an actor or not, because improv really helps you. It helps you think on the spot and get rid of those insecurities and those fears of being on stage. That was another way that I really came out of my shell. I was doing improv all of the time down here with people in New Orleans, with my uncle, with my classmates. And they would just put you on stage with somebody else and they would just drop a scenario on you. They'd be like, okay, you're a farmer and this guy just drove his Lambo into your farm. What do you do? And you just have to keep going. And then the rules in improv are that you can never say no. You can never stop and you can never say no. So using those, it helped me become a better actress, but also a better salesperson because, of course, every person is different. You can't always stick to a script when you're selling somebody, because it's not form fitted for everybody. It's just a template. It's a suggestion, you know?
Mhm.
And the same with scripts. It's a suggestion. Of course, we have the flow of where we want. We have a goal and a flow of what is supposed to happen. So it's up to you to read the room, embody the vibes, and then deliver your performance.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say that.
Very, very good. I mean, improv is something that I recommend a lot of people to experience.
Mhm.
It does train your ability to think fast on your feet. It's great for interviews too, because you never know what people are going to ask and what you were going to be asking other people as well. So, a great way of really developing that mindset. What's one of the most interesting scenarios that you were thrown with in an improv scenario?
Oh, one of the most interesting things I was thrown in with improv. Okay. There was actually one time we were out on the street. There was only like a handful of us, right? And so we were walking through the city and we would just start scenarios with other people on the street. So the other people would have no idea
The
what
first thought is like, get away from me.
literally, trying like, and that would be the perfect way to, push for the improv because people on the street, that's authentic, real reactions. So you have to work with something that is not in a controlled environment, which is the best. So they would say, oh, you see that guy with the hat on, go talk to him. You're I don't know, you're selling something for the Girl Scouts, even though I'm already like 20 years old, and no cookies on me, no uniform or anything. And you have to just go up to this guy and convince him that you are what everybody says you are. And, a lot of the time it doesn't necessarily work because they're usually like, what are you saying? Get out of my way. But it's still a lot of fun because, sometimes people will play along, they'll get it, or, they'll even say some crazy things themselves. You never know what you're going to get down here in New Orleans. People are hilarious and you can never expect it. So that was probably one of my more fun times with improv. There was another time I was at school actually, and they had some actors. Oh, I feel bad because I don't remember these actors, but I do remember that they were pretty well known. And they got on stage and they were like, oh, we're gonna do an improv scene, but you guys are gonna feed us the scenarios. You guys are gonna tell us what to say, who we are, if we have to have a scene change. And so it was really fun, basically directing them to do what you want.
Awesome.
And it's a lot of fun. Improv is always changing. It's never the same, and you can have so much fun with it.
That is very, very cool. Lots of fun as well. So for somebody who's working on businesses to improve their marketing and their brands and online presence, what are some of the most common things that people come up to you and go, "Hey, help us with this because something's not working," and you
Mhm.
notice it right away. The de facto no-nos in marketing and branding that people always do. What would those be?
Okay. So a lot of the time, of course the most common thing is that they just don't post at all. Or when they do post, it's poor quality. I don't, it's grainy Android camera, and perhaps they don't necessarily know any angles or there's no lighting and they're just lip syncing a TikTok audio that they found, and that does work sometimes, but it's not necessarily streamlined. What we do for our company, we want our content to be crisp, clean and professional. We want it to look like we want your content to reflect you, high value, right? So if we go onto your Instagram and it's just poor quality pictures, audio that you can't understand, and your last post was December of 2015, not necessarily a great start.
Mm.
So one thing that we always push for is consistency, because if you're consistently posting every day, every other day, then even if you don't have $1,000 equipment or the best editor team ever, you will already learn what does well and what doesn't. So if you change up your content, pictures, graphics, videos, music, eventually you're going to understand, okay, this video did well. Why? Analyze it, see what did well, and then you can continue making content like that. And that's almost what we do. It's a trial and error, I guess. Marketing is not an exact science. Social media is always changing every day. And so when we work with clients, we like to work with them for months so that we can actually learn and project what content is doing well. Let's review the analytics. Let's change up the streamline. This video did well because it had this person talking with this person about a controversial topic, or this image did well because it shows that you're having a sale. So consistency is very important because it shows you where your faults and where your wins are. So if you're not posting at all, well, of course, that's a problem.
Mm.
But if you're posting consistently, then we can run a diagnostic on your page. We can see exactly why your views are not hitting, why you're not getting followers, why you're not getting likes, and then we can change that. And so it's always changing, and we're always trying to work to make sure that we're better than we were last month.
Mhm. Now, you mentioned before it could be a trial and error thing. It's an analytical thing where you have to look at the numbers, tweak it here, tweak it there. How much time do you give a suggestion or an idea before you go, okay, we're gonna scrap this because it's been X amount of time?
We so we like to work very fast. Content is changing every single day. And so our turnover is on a month basis. So at the beginning, well, I guess at the end of every month, we're going to have a video shoot with our clients so that we can put out all of this content for the next month, in the beginning of the next month. So how long do we sit on an idea? Not long. If we have an idea, we are going to execute it immediately. We are going to write it down. We're going to say, that's a good idea. Write it down. And, the only at the end of the day, the only thing that prevents us from getting as much content out there, is the clients. At the end of the day, it is their social media, it is their name, it's their brand.
Mm.
So even though we may get all excited and audacious and we'll have all these big plans, that might not necessarily be what the client wants, and that's okay. That's why we have our own content and our own social media so that we can be as eccentric as we want to be.
Mhm.
Um, there was an idea that we had a couple months ago. So our slogan is that we produce 100% organic content, right? And so my uncle and his CMO, they had an idea. They were like, why don't we make a parody video based on that 100% organic content? So they went out to a farm out in the middle of nowhere, and it was Leduc Farms, 100% farm grown organic content. And so they would just be walking through the fields, and they had like a ranch style voiceover in the background, and they were like, Leduc Farms, 100% organic content grown right here. And it was a lot of fun. And it was of course goofy, but it was also it was working for the company, you know, it was both fun and informative. And that's what we would like to do for everybody. We would like to cross the two to maximize your output on social media, because if it's just one or if it's just the other, you're going to lose out on two different demographics, you know. So if you combine the two, then you're going to reach as many people as you can.
You mentioned in that segment there where you may have an idea and the business that you're working with may not agree with that idea. And you said that in the end, it's their business, it's their choice.
Mhm.
However, they're hiring you because you're the expert. You
Mhm.
know what the trends are, you know what's going to work, you know what's best potentially for their company to expand.
Right.
So when the company goes, well, I don't know about this, at what's that line where you go, well, trust us, we know what we're doing, versus, you know what, it's up to you. But it's
And so
up if it's up to them, it may not get the results that you promised. So where do you find that line?
I'm so glad you asked that, because we just recently had some situations like that in the past couple months with our clients. So with Leduc Entertainment, we kind of use our social media and our platform as the tester. You know, if we have ideas of content and videos and segments that we think would do well, of course we're going to try it with our company first before we push this on to other people. So the one thing that has always been tried and true and has never failed us has been our podcast. So Leduc Entertainment's official podcast is called Spaghetti on the Wall. And, you know, it's spaghetti on the wall because it's all the years we've thrown spaghetti on the wall, nursed what's stuck, i.e., you know, the business, the podcast, other things. And so the podcast has always been tried and true. And so we were wondering, we were like, you know, this is something that we can do consistently on a weekly basis, or even like multiple times a week. We have a huge network of people, not just here in Louisiana, but all over the country. And we can find different guests. And if these guests have other social media, then they can share it on their platforms and share it with their email listing. And that all generates more content, more engagement. And so we were just had an epiphany. We're like, why are we not doing this with our clients?
Mhm.
And so we sat down with our clients, and some of them, they were like, you know, like, doesn't that sound like too much? But we just wanted to push them, because we felt like this is something that would really help push them not only out of their comfort zone and help them become more confident in their abilities as a professional and as a host, but it would also bring them more in their network with their guests. They would bring more in their client base, because more people would be coming to them as a business professional. They would see, oh, well, this person obviously knows what he's talking about. He's hosting his own podcast. This is something that we can release weekly, guaranteed content for the month. So we pushed this with our clients, and you know, some of them had some pushback, some of them took it more easily than others. But now we just started several podcasts for our clients, you know, Above the Legal Limit with attorney Justin Chopin, Success of a Hot Mess with attorney and singer Stacey Isaacs, other ones, you know, I'm not going to list all of them, I guess. Um, but we've already been doing this for about 2, 3 months now, and it's already been going super, super well. They've been getting more views. They've been opening more social media, because they're like, oh, well, you know, we should get the word out there. And we're like, yep, you should. You should get the word out there. You should post it everywhere. You should get an email listing. You should send it to everybody. So I'm really glad that this is something that we have started doing, because it's not necessarily something where it's scripted, because especially, you know, a lot of the business professionals, you know, no, they're not actors. They're not necessarily good with a script. And I know that when some people are presented with a script, you know, straight away they get robotic with it. You know, they're not sure what to say, how to say it, where to put their hands. So this takes away that awkwardness about it. It's so much content, because not only is it just the full episode, but we can cut it up. We can make multiple little videos with just that one episode. And so it's been a great work in progress so far, and I'm really excited to get more clients and see what more we can do with them.
That is awesome. You mentioned before about controversial topics. Uh,
Mhm.
Today, there's lots of people afraid of cancel culture. They're afraid to touch on certain topics or themes in case they'll get canceled or they get lots of hatred from another group and whatnot. So, what's that balance between, okay, controversial topics versus getting noticed?
Okay. So I guess there's a difference between polarized opinions and controversial opinions. So polarized opinions are, of course, the political, the I guess that's a big one already, the politics, your parties, your beliefs on religion, your beliefs on gender or um same-sex love or anything like that. Those are polarizing topics. And if, you can talk about that. Of course, nobody's going to stop you from talking about that. Those are your beliefs. But if you are a business, you might want to stay away from those because those can really hurt your business because you are already, if you have a certain opinion, you're already cutting in half the demographic that you're going to reach because you say one thing and then the other half is going to turn off their ears. So, polarizing topics are controversial opinions that aren't necessarily direct. You know, um, so for example, one of our clients, they're from here in Louisiana, New Orleans, really, and they posted a video talking about their favorite restaurants in New Orleans. You would think very simple topic, but she unfortunately got a lot of whiplash from that video. A lot of people in the comments, they were like, these are tourist traps. These are not good restaurants. She said she mispronounced this word. She's not from New Orleans. And she felt very bad about it. But we said, wait a minute, back up because you got over 200,000 views on this video. Who cares what people are writing about because you are trending right now? And then the next three videos that she posted after that also hit like hundreds of thousands of views, like hundreds of comments and likes. And that's the difference because although you may get hate, if you're not getting hate, you're not doing something right. Haters are your biggest fans. And if they're giving you hundreds and thousands of likes and comments and shares, yes, let's talk about it more. Let's talk about more tourist traps. Let's mispronounce some more names, you know? So controversial topics, those would include different topics where people may have strong feelings and strong differing opinions that's not necessarily personally like personal to anybody. So like favorite foods, you could say, oh, Mexican food is the best food and every other food should die. That's that's a controversial topic, and a lot of people are going to have some words to say about that. But of course, some people might agree with you. A lot of people love Mexican food. So it's all about kind of fitting in where you're not stepping on any toes.
Mhm.
And, if you want to step on some toes, that'll probably be that'll probably get you even more views. But cancel culture is it's more in the if it's more about if you fear it, you'll give them the power.
Mhm.
If you're a good person and you know that and you're just stating your opinions, at the end of the day, this is America, we have free speech. And some people might take that and run miles with it. And that's okay because whatever they say, they say. And cancel culture, it only really works if you let them get to you.
Mhm.
If you feel ashamed, or if you stop posting, or if you pull back all of your videos. There are people out there who have been noted some of the worst people ever, but they are making millions because they don't care, because they are sharing their views and their beliefs, and they're still making views and make racking in like so much money. And so cancel culture is, of course, a hot topic, but I don't believe it's a end all be all.
Mhm.
You know, people know where the line is. The line is when you do something illegal, when you say something illegal, when you incite violence or harm to
Right.
other people. So if you're not doing any of those things, oh, do it. Do it.
You mentioned the comments and people, haters being on comment boards and all that kind of stuff. Are you an advocate for those to like don't care about comments, don't read it?
Yeah, I agree.
Is
You
there
can.
a line between engaging with comments versus not reading it at all?
So I it definitely depends on the person. If you're the type of person to easily get influenced by other people's opinions, just don't even bother. Just don't even read them. You can see that the video is getting views and hits without reading the comments. You can leave that to the editing team. We'll deal with that. You know, we'll see what everybody's saying. But I also do think, I'm not above a little comment section battle, I'll admit. I, I like to poke the bear sometimes.
Mhm.
And not only does it's kind of fun sometimes, and it also just generates more engagement. The more you engage in the comment section, the more you share it out there. Oh, look at this person. This person commented this. Like, can you believe they said that? And it all just generates more and more content,
Mhm.
more and more engagement coming your way. And, the more views you have, the better. And so, yeah, if it definitely all depends on the person. I don't think comments are necessarily somewhere where you need to be unless you're prepared for it.
So how about companies that have a certain demographic, but that demographic changes as people grow and new people get into that demographic and whatnot. But then they have different backgrounds, different cultures, different upbringing. So the millennials are different than the Gen Zs, are different than all these other groups. There comes a time where you go, okay, when do we make that switch? How do we appeal to all the different groups? What's
Mhm.
that timeline of, okay, we had to have some like overlap and whatnot. How do you balance all that stuff?
That, I guess, between the generations, I guess that's its own controversial topic as well. There's always this battle between the generations, like, oh, the former generation is always better than the next, which, is not necessarily true. But to fit all of that in there, of course, most of our people are business centered. So we will have informative, professional, clean videos that are them talking about their company, talking about a topic that their company, um, the pain point that they ease. All of that is, of course, reaching the higher or the older generations, because they're the ones that have these problems, or they have the money to afford these services. These are the ones that you are actually targeting as clientele. But the younger generations are the ones that are chronically online. So you have to fit in. That's where like we look into those weekly trends, Trends are changing constantly. So whenever we have these trends that pop up that we think would work with our clients, we have to act immediately, you know? And it won't be entirely this content. That's where we just mix the two. It might change based on day to day, depending on how often they're posting, or maybe, you know, Mondays through Wednesdays, we're going to focus on the informative side of it. We're going to focus on the business side of it. And then Thursday through Saturday, we're going to get fun. It's the weekend. Everybody wants to, take a brain break. You know, it's lunchtime. Let's post something fun and short because people are on their lunch breaks and they want to be entertained. They don't necessarily want to be sold.
Mhm.
So that's where, of course, the analytics come back in. The analytics also give us age demographics, um, male female ratios. So those are very important to look at because if 90% of your audience are millennials, well, you have to cater to that demographic. If you have a good mix, half of them are millennials and boomers, and then the other half are Gen Z and what's the new Gen Alpha, I think. I don't know. Well, then that's when you can really diversify your content.
Mhm.
And so that's where, it's very important to actually read your analytics, see who is watching your videos, who is following you, what kind of demographic is taking in what you're giving out. And those are the type of people you have to target. But of course, even older people like to be entertained. So it's always good to have a good, healthy mix. Half of the videos should be informative, half of the videos should be entertainment,
Mhm.
or mix the both.
Now you're in an industry and in a role where it requires you to be creative, coming
Yes.
up with ideas spontaneously or coming up with interesting ideas or new ideas. So taking you outside of your day-to-day uh, job and role, how do you maintain that type of mentality on a like personal level? Like do you do certain readings all the time? Do you do certain exercises all the time just so that it keeps that mentality up so that you are a creative person on a day-to-day basis?
Yes. So I'm a dog mom. So I love my dog and I'm always trying to take taking care of him takes care of me. So of course I have to take care of myself in order for me to actually have the energy and the time I to actually have these ideas and to be my creative authentic self. So, going on multiple walks a day, working out with my best friends, going across the city, walking all over. In the area that I live in, it's a very close-knit city. There's something within 5 mile radius. So I never necessarily have to leave this area. So what I love to do is whenever I go on my walks with my dog, I'll go all around this area and I'll make my rounds. And so I just talk to everybody. There's this whole strip mall next to my house. It's like a bunch of restaurants and stores and businesses, and I will literally walk my dog into each one of these businesses and I will just talk to these people, and I've gotten to know these people while I've been living there. And I think it's very getting to know the people around you is a very slept on behavior these days. Nobody actually goes outside and talks to their neighbors anymore.
Mhm.
And I understand, you're home, you want to be left to your devices, but there's a whole world right next door. So I love to just go out there and actually talk to people. And that already helps me feel more creative because all of these people, you're going to meet so many different types of minds, different perspectives, you're going to hear different stories. One person might be having the best day ever. They just got back from their honeymoon and they're telling me about their engagement party and all of these things. And then another person next door, they might be telling me that, oh, this person, we had to call an ambulance last night because somebody just like OD'd in the parking lot. And you never know what you're going to get when you step outside. And these stories are they're insane, but they're real,
Mhm.
you know? And the best way to get creative is to just hear real stories because there's nothing more creative, nothing crazier than real life.
Mhm.
You just got to know where to look, really.
Right.
And so, walking out there, talking to all these people, getting to know all of these people, it generally just helps gets the juices flowing. if I'm just home by myself with no one to talk to but my dog, you know, he never talks back, though I have a sneaking suspicion he will one day. Um, so it definitely helps me to not only get out of my comfort zone, but also take in these different perspectives and reflect and see how I can use that to help me in my personal life and also help me with my professional life.
Awesome. So when Jocelyn comes up to people and goes, so how are you doing? It's not one of those, how are you doing? And you just walk by. It's okay, I want to listen to what you're going to say.
Yes. It's more like, how the hell are you? I haven't seen you in forever. Do you like my dog? Well, he likes you too. Uh,
Um,
yeah.
so let's put you on the world stage and
Okay.
you have a couple of minutes to share one message that you want everybody to remember Jocelyn for. What would that message be?
Oh my goodness. One message that I want to be remembered for is to always work to be better. Progress over perfection. I feel like, you know, a lot with social media these days, people are, of course, when you're on social media, you only want to show the best sides of yourself. You want to show the best sides, you know, your angles, your accomplishments, your success. And yes, of course, you want to show that with the world. You're proud of what you've worked for, but it also sends a message that we are not allowed to be ugly. We're not allowed to break down. It's always about the hustle culture and never about the mental health of it all. You know, we're so proactive and we're always out there, you know, we always have to be bigger, better, badder, you know, but we're just people, you know, and I want people to know that even if you're not in a place where you're happy or you're where you're just not where you want to be, you can always change it. Everything that you need, all of the tools are at your disposal. You can change everything about yourself if you're not happy. You can move out of your small hometown. You can go start a new hobby and make friends. You can start working out. And even if you don't see the results immediately, that's where the consistency comes in, where the progress comes in. You can always work to be better than you were yesterday and to always be nicer than you were yesterday, you know. And it's always a it's a continuous work in progress because people, we are not perfect, and you know, we're not expected to be. So I really hope that people understand that it's okay to not be perfect.
Very, very powerful stuff there. I was going to end it with that. However, what you just said kind of piqued another question here, and that is, what's that line between being authentic and being your brand? Because sometimes if you go, hey, I'm going to show the ugly side, I'm going to show the authenticity side where I failed here or I'm weak here, that might hurt the brand. So how do you balance that out?
I don't think it necessarily would hurt the brand,
Mhm.
because that is you being your authentic self, you know? Even with Leduc Entertainment, with my uncle, you know, he is always sharing stories on social media about times that he failed. There's one video that he is it's trending like right now, a video where he was on set for college. It was with jo Josh um Josh Peck, Drake Peck, you know, the guys from Drake and Josh, you
Okay.
know. It was a movie for him, you know, it was a big budget movie called College, and he got cast in a role there. But because it was a college movie, you know, it was supposed to be, you know, just a frat, you know, drunk guys, you know, drunk college kids partying it up. But he decided that he was going to take that literally. So he actually bought real alcohol. You're not supposed to drink on set. Of course, you have to be within the moment, but he ended up taking some beers, taking some packs, getting a little lit and turned up with his friends, and that ended up costing him that role. He lost that role in the movie.
Hmm.
And although, yes, it is a bad story where he did fail and he made a mistake. It's his authentic self. He's being honest. He's saying, this is what I did. I was immature and I made a mistake. You know, you can take this and be honest and show how you've grown from this, how you've reflected over it, and how you've learned from it. And then you can share that with other people and they will also take it in and they'll learn from it too, you know. A lot of people watching that video are probably college kids themselves. And so it helps in like a professional and like a school setting as well, where yes, you know, you want to have fun, but at what cost?
Mhm.
Do you want to cost your position where you are now, or do you want to tough it out and be your authentic self and really work and be as good as you can be? So I don't necessarily think that you should hide your mistakes.
Mhm.
You know, of course, there are ugly sides that nobody really wants to show or wants to see.
Yep.
But all parts of you are you, which is, you know, my message. I want everybody to be okay with the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Nicely done. Before I let you go, 5 quick rapid fire questions. Give me the first thing that comes to mind.
That's it.
Stranded on the desert island, one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence.
Sushi.
Great choice.
I
Ho-
love it.
Hollywood calls and wants to do a biopic, and doing a biopic of you. Obviously, you're playing the lead because it's you. But who would you cast to play your best friend?
My best friend. Oh my goodness. Um, Jenna Ortega.
Awesome. She shows up at your door and goes, "Hey, I got casted to play your best friend. Let's hang out." And you go, "No, no worries. I got the entire night planned out. What does that night look like?"
A night out with Jenna Ortega. Oh, we're going out in the town. We are hitting everything. We are going to in down here in New Orleans, there's this carousel bar and it's, you know, it's been going on for years. It's beautiful. It's literally inside a really nice fancy hotel. It's a giant carousel that's rotating and on the inside of the carousel is a bar. So definitely going there first. We're going there first. And then from there, we'll go to the Sanger. We'll see a nice play, or maybe they'll have some live music going on. And then after there, we'll go to City Park, and we're gonna take to the people. We're gonna see all the Spanish moss. We're gonna ride the train through the park, and then we're gonna go. Ooh, probably by the end of the night, you know, I guess bourbon, you know, it's a staple down here, might have to go.
Nicely done. You already have that planned out.
I have it.
You're on a road trip,
Mhm.
hours and hours on end. One song to listen to, which you won't get sick of.
Mm, got me there. Oh, one song that I won't get sick of ever. What's a song that I've been listening to lately? Okay. HOTTOGO by Chappelle Roan.
You're gonna give me a bar.
A bar. Okay, okay, okay. It goes like this. Wait, where's my mic? It goes like this. HOTTOGO, you can take me hard to go. And it's like a pop song, and she's talking, it's just like her saying she's hot and she's ready to go and she's ready to leave the club and who's coming with her.
Awesome stuff. Nicely done. And last question, give me a number from 1 to 5.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. So if you had to use stickers
Mm.
as a metaphor for success, how is success like stickers?
Define success with stickers.
Yep.
Okay. Sparkles. Uh, sparkles, lots of plants, a nice, I don't, it's a good question. Sparkles, plants, and a lot of a nice cottage out in the countryside with a nice low brick wall, and like one entire wall of the house is just covered in vines. That's yes.
Nicely done. Thank you very much. Um, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you? And any last words from you?
Any last words from me? I don't bite, of course, always hit me up. I'm always ready to talk, get connected, have people on my podcast, be on other people's podcasts, anything. You can hit me up over here at leducentertainment.com. You can call us, or you can email me, Jocelyn, JOCELYN, at leducentertainment.com. I have my Instagram, I have my personal Instagram, Jossie_official, and then my business Instagram, Jocelyn Markets. And then you can also find me on LinkedIn at Jocelyn Leduc as well. I'm all over online. You can find me easy.
As you should be.
Yes,
In this
hit me
role,
up.
you should be.
Yeah.
Well, once again, thank you very much for being here. It's always a joy, and thank you for all the great stories you shared and some golden nuggets that you shared as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So everybody, make sure you connect with Jocelyn. She's Jocelyn. My name is Fong. Until next time, today is the day to lock your peak potential. We'll see you later.